There is a biblical command or mandate for faithfulness in the fruitfulness of going out and replenishing the earth, multiplication of the family. So many times as Christians, we ignore this, especially in the West, the Christian West in America. But from the very first chapter of Genesis, God links biological multiplication to with spiritual and just dominion in general. It says this, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, Genesis 1:28. We also see this in other passages in Genesis 2. This command was never canceled. God never said this is no longer in effect. He still wants us to have kids. Jesus says, have the children come up to me. He loves them. Children are not a financial burden in our life. Or nor do they really diminish our lifestyle choices. At least they shouldn't, because our choice should be to be serving God. They are a heritage from the Lord and a reward. In Psalms 127, it makes a very striking military usage of the language of arrows in a quiver. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are children of one's youth. Happy is a man who has a quiver full of them. The metaphor is intentionally aggressive. It's the arrows are not just meant to just stay in the quiver. They are precision engineered weapons that are to be launched directly into the heart of battle, into the cultural, intellectual, and spiritual gates of enemy influence. Deuteronomy 6:4-9 makes it clear that this discipleship is not occasional, but it's rather consistent. God's command is us to disciple our children when we're in our house, when we're walking by the way, when we lie down, and when we rise. Ephesians 6 builds on this, instructing how the parents are to train their children. The home is the first and most important mission field. When we replace this rigorous daily home-centered discipleship with age separated or segregated programs and entertaining youth ministry, we should not be shocked when 70 to 90% of youth defect from the church. Children spot hypocrisy immediately. They see through the faith that is worn only on Sunday but ignored on Monday through Saturday. Authentic Christianity is caught more than is taught. The secular West is in the middle of a self-inflicted demographic winter. Birth rates across the developing world have collapsed to below the 2.1 level that's needed for the populations to continue on, pretty much. Secular humanism is inherently sterile. It's a culture of death, a death cult that cannot reproduce itself. This creates a massive built-in advantage to faithful, obedient Christians. The Amish often are dismissed as being backwards, and maybe they are. Maybe they're outdated. Maybe they're technologically not advanced. However, they reproduce, or they double in population every 16 to 20 years. That is a crazy number. They do not do this through some sort of fancy, hyper glamorous sermons. No, they do it the old fashioned way. They have 4 to 9 kids. Then they maintain a 85 to 90% retention rate through intentional discipleship and community. Where is the church on this? Where is the rest of the church? As Kevin D. Young has said and has rightly observed, that in the coming decades, the only couples replacing themselves in America will likely be religious couples who are obeying God and the Bible. The secular world, on the other hand, is choosing sterility, whether that's abortion or other types of worse things as well. All sorts of things that are just terrible at all levels. Consider the staggering compound math of a conventional faithfulness. If a godly couple has 6 children, who each have 6 children, this radical decision yields 258 direct descendants within 100 years. This is demographic chess that, if you obey the Bible, things will change in the culture dramatically. This is exactly how the early church exploded. In Rome, the Roman Empire was filled with abortion, infant exposure, which is leaving unwanted babies by the side of the road to die, sexual immorality, family breakdown. Christians valued children, however. They rescued these kids from destruction. They actively rescued those abandoned babies. Often they were girls. They were very sexist culture. They honored lifelong marriages. The church did. They out-reproduced the pagans. They trained their kids. They discipled them like crazy. They did not merely out-argue the Romans. they outlived them and out-multiplied Rome. Eventually, they inherited the Roman Empire altogether. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and follow. Tell me your thoughts down below. Hope to see you on the next one.